It is a showtime.
This is the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast.
Oh, hell yeah!
20 questions,
105 possible points.
I have an answer to your question.
general knowledge categories like
Literature,
music,
sports,
history,
TV, geography,
and many more.
all in a pub trivia game format.
I'm paying thousands of dollars for education. Apparently, I don't need to.
I have a question for you. Are you ready to pass the bar?
Hell yeah, I'm ready.
This is a heavy B production.
It is the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. We host this game we're about to play 4 nights a week in front of live pub drinking audiences, and we bring it to you at your fingertips on the World Wide Web or social media whenever we can to get you ready for your next pub trivia night or get you through the workday, your commute, whatever. We just want to make it available for you. We know how important trivia is, Jason, to some people, don't we?
Yeah, trivia is a lifestyle, really.
It is.
It's
You're
a
right.
lifestyle.
And we want to make it available to you for your listening enjoyment. My name is Edge. I'm not as smart as I pretend to be, but Jason, I am going to rock your socks tonight, brother.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Joining me today is our measuring stick, Jason Young. Say hello to everybody, Jason.
Hello to everybody, Jason.
Yeah. What is the bar exam? People often ask me that. Well, it's a pub trivia game consisting of 20 questions divided into 2 halves, and each half is then divided into 3 parts. Each part contains 3 questions. Before a 3-question part begins, I read out 3 categories and then ask a question pertaining to one of those categories. And normally I would play a song, but since we like to keep this game moving along, what we normally do is just play this sound effect right here. It's about 12 seconds long. So you have that amount of time to submit your answer. If that's too quick, oftentimes it is too quick for Jason, but we don't give him this luxury. You can pause the podcast if you want to. No big deal. But the game really is that simple. Submit an answer before the end of the song or the sound effect. The rub of the game is this, though, Jason. Each player gets a value 6, 3, or 1 to begin each 3-question part. You must wager each of those values once per part. So you can score 10 points per part. We only give points for the right answers, no penalty for guessing. Once you wager a value right or wrong, this is the real key though, you cannot wager it again for that part. So if you wager 6 on the very first question of each part, right or wrong, you can't wager 6 again until you get into that brand new fresh part. Now, I'm telling you, it'll make a lot more sense as the game goes on. It always does. If you're totally lost, check out our website, heavybtrivia1.com. You can also check out our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, BAREXAMPTPOD. We've got all the scoring info there. We also have the actual score sheets that we use in our live games, and that should help visualize it a little more, I think, Jason, don't you?
Some people have to see it in order for their socks to be rocked.
Yeah, there you go. And you know what? I burned through it, and I don't always say it correctly, so it's written there for you in black and white. You can go check that out. If you don't want to keep score, though,
Just answer the question.
yeah, if you want to create your own scoring system, then to heck with mine. Who cares? Just have fun with it. Jason is here, though, if you're trying to compete. So if you're trying to compete, I got to give you a few simple answers here. This is a few simple rules. This is normally a team game. Talk out your answers with your team. Just don't scream out answers. If you shout out answers right or wrong, it could ruin this game. So don't do it habitually. Once you hand in your answer to your host or scorekeeper, your answer is final. You can't have it back. And finally, this is a brain game, Jason. No cell phones are to be used. If you're looking up answers on your cell phone internet, as I say all the time, first of all, you're a loser. Second of all, you're cheating everybody at a bar trivia game. If you're willing to soil your reputation over that, have at it. Are you going to soil your reputation tonight, Jason?
No, probably not my reputation, but I'm making no promises over anything else.
If you are caught cheating, just know you should be disqualified by your host. And like I said, if you're not caught cheating, just know you're a liar. And as I always say, Jason, go home, look yourself in the mirror,
And
say,
soil
hey,
yourself.
man, and soil yourself. And then say, I'm just not as smart as I think I am. Because
Right.
that's really what you need to do. Once again, my name is Edge. I will be your host this evening. All decisions I make are final. Jason, are you ready to go?
Let's go.
All right, here we go. First 3 categories, or part 1 categories, I should say, in tonight's game of pub trivia are government and the law,
Boy.
music, food, and beverage. Once again, government and the law, music, food, and beverage. Here is your government and the law category question. First question of tonight's game: who comes after the vice president in presidential succession? Once again, who comes after the vice president in presidential succession? Good luck, everybody.
I'm not as positive as I wagered right there. I'm a little nervous at this point.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer right there. Who comes after the vice president in presidential succession? Our first question of the game was a government and the law category question. Jason, why don't you show everybody what you wrote there?
Well, I hope you can see it. I wrote Speaker of the House for 6 points.
And that is correct. So he just gained 6 points right there. He can only now wager a 3 or a 1 for the next 2 questions. His 6 points is burnt. And had he wrote something ridiculous like Speaker, Majority Leader of the Senate or whatever it may have been, he would have been out. He couldn't wager that 6 points again. Wouldn't have lost any points, just couldn't wager that 6 until the next part. All right, question number 2. Part number 1, which rapper's debut album came out in 2008 and was titled Mail on Sunday? Once again, which rapper's debut album came out in 2008 and was titled Mail on Sunday? I actually interviewed this guy when I was a radio DJ many, many years ago. It wasn't that nice to me either, I'm going to tell you that. Kind of a jerk.
Oh, well, now I feel better about my answer. I don't know if this guy even
All right,
considers
which
himself a rapper.
rapper's debut album came out in 2008 was titled Mail on Sunday? Jason had a good guess with Kanye West, but you're only right if you wrote Flo Rida. Oh. The Apple Bottom Jeans, Low song, one of my favorites, was on that album right there. All right, food and beverage category question. I know everybody eats it. There's one right across the street from us right now, although I prefer to stay at the pub. In which decade, I should say. Let me start that one over. Wow. In which decade did the first Taco Bell franchise open up? Once again, in which decade did the first Taco Bell franchise open up? Good luck, everybody.
There's no qualifier here. I have to know this. I have to know my Taco Bell knowledge.
It's a decade. You can be within 10 years.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. You had me at Taco Bell.
Yeah, there you go. In which decade did the first Taco Bell franchise open? It opened in 1962. What? Yeah, the 1960s in Irvine, California. Glenn Bell, I think, was the guy's name, too. Don't ask me. I don't eat Taco Bell. Don't ask me why I know all this about it. But
that sounds very...
that may just be hearsay. That may just, popped into my head, too. I have no idea. But anyhow, it was the 1960s for Taco Bell. That is a fact. All right, part 2 categories. Keeping the game going right along here. We have movies, television, and vocabulary. Everybody's favorite category at the bar.
Thank God we got vocab.
Yeah. Movies, TV, and vocabulary. Here is your movies category question. First question to part number 2. What movie features the iconic line, "Now, what we've got here is a failure to communicate"? Once again, what movie features the iconic line, "Now, what we've got here is a failure to communicate"? Good luck, everybody.
Nope.
Good movie, man. Old one, though.
I apologize.
What movie features the iconic line, "Now what we've got here is a failure to communicate"? That was said by the warden in the film Cool Hand Luke. Paul Newman classic. Jason?
This is also a Paul Newman movie.
Is it?
Yeah.
The Sting?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, it might be. I don't know. Well, again, Paul Newman's a little before our time, I think.
I really appreciate your attempt at a Southern accent there.
Oh, jeez. Tell you what, my Scarface accent from the last game was not very good either. I'll just stick to announcing. That's what I'm going to try and do here. All right, TV category question. Second question to part number 2. Gary Shandling portrays a neurotic talk show host on this HBO series that ran from 1992 to 1998. Once again, Gary Shandling portrays a neurotic talk show host on this HBO series that ran from 1992 to 1998. Good luck, everybody. Man, we are hurting this guy's pride
really
next to
bad.
me right now.
It's bad.
The TV category question. Gary Shandling portrays a neurotic talk show host on this HBO series that ran from 1992 to 1998. I think it was on HBO also. Correct response is The Larry Sanders Show. Have you ever even heard of that?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a popular show during that time period for sure. All right.
Can't say I'm a big Gary Shandling fan.
Well, he passed away recently, like maybe within the last 2 or 3 years, and I know
Yeah.
there was a bunch of tributes. That's when I learned As it often is. That's when I learned most about that person, once it was too late. All right. Vocabulary is the final question of part number 2. This is a tough one, man. What's the 2-word term for the action of the president failing to sign a bill within 10 days of it being presented to him?
Yeah.
Once again, what's the 2-word term for the action of the president failing to sign a bill within 10 days of it being presented to him? Good luck.
Yeah, this is wrong.
What is the 2-word term for the action of the president failing to sign a bill within 10 days of it being presented to him? You were only right if you wrote the old pocket veto.
Yes.
That's it, man. Pocket veto.
Boy.
You got it. What a save that was right there.
And get your 6. That was my 6.
He was going down the tubes quick there, folks. He likes to brag when he gets a perfect part. That would have been an imperfect part right there.
It would.
All right, part 3 categories. Here we go. Sports, arts and entertainment, and board games. Sports, arts and entertainment, and board games. Here is your sports category question. Which of the 5 New York City boroughs do the New York Mets play home games? Once again, in which of the 5 New York City boroughs do the New York Mets play home baseball games? Good luck, everybody. You were only right if you wrote Shea Stadium, of course. That's where they play their games. It's located in Queens.
Oh, man.
Right outside of Flushing Meadows, which in our live trivia game, we asked the other night, where was the location of the U.S. Open? You might hear that one in one of these trivia games, so put that one in your brain there. In which of the 5 New York City boroughs do New York Mets play home games? We just said a moment ago, Queens is the correct response. Here's your arts and entertainment category question. This is the second question of part number 3. In the X-Men franchise, which character can heal their own injuries? Once again, in the X-Men franchise, which character can heal their own injuries? Good luck, everybody. X-Men franchise, which character can heal their own injuries? It was an arts and entertainment category question, the second of part number 3. You were only right if you wrote Wolverine.
See, now I'm on a roll.
Now you're on a roll. See if you can get the perfect part. He may be able to. This is a random board games question, by the way. That's what you got to love about this game. The questions vary in difficulty, and they are random as all hell, I'm telling you. Which United States capital's name would be worth the most points in a game of Scrabble if you only counted the last letter in the name of the city? Once again, which United States capital's name would be worth the most points in a game of Scrabble if you only counted the last letter of the city's name? Good luck, everybody. There you
Nod
go.
your head.
Tell you what, if you can say the capitals real quick. I know there's a song out there about them.
Yep. Well, I don't know a capital song. I know just the states.
Just the state song, okay. It was a random board games category question to round out part number 3. Which United States capital's name would be worth the most points in a game of Scrabble if you only counted the last letter in the name of the city? You were only right if you wrote Phoenix, Arizona. And how much is the X worth in Scrabble? Maybe if you're playing with your own scoring system, you could give a little bonus point here for this one. What is it? Do you know?
44. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure X and J are 8-point values. I'm pretty sure in the game of Scrabble. But again, things just come in this head that I think I know, and I have no idea where they come from. So, all right, it's now time for your halftime question. Halftime works a little differently. You don't need to wager on this question. This question has 5 correct answers, and you're going to get 2 points for each answer you get correct. So you can score a maximum of 10 points during this halftime question. Normally, when we were playing at the pub during live games, we'd give you 2 songs for this one, but instead, we're going to take a 2-minute commercial break, give you a couple minutes to answer this question since it is more involved. Here we go, halftime question for 2 points each. Which 5 species of animals are considered the big 5 for game hunters in South Africa? And again, we're going to provide the link below here so you know where we're getting this information. Which 5 species of animals are considered the big 5 for game hunters in South Africa? Don't look at the link. Don't look it up until you answer the question, though. Okay, does that make sense?
I don't even have a link.
There, you're right. He doesn't get one. 2 points for each answer you get correct. You can score 10. We will give you your answer right after this. Thanks for listening to the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. Good luck.
Get your question on the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast by emailing BAREXAMPTPOD@gmail.com. This is the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast.
The Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast is recorded at the BRICKSIDE Bar and Grill, located on Lodgeville Road in Bridgeport. A selection of over 40 beers, award-winning wings, and the biggest open-air concert deck in Harrison County. Check out the BRICKSIDE Bar and Grill on Facebook or stop in and see for yourself. The BRICKSIDE, it's where the locals hang out.
You're listening to the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast.
Halftime Question is brought to you by Heavy B Productions, specializing in event planning, interactive bar games, trivia leagues, video and audio production, and MC services for corporate events, weddings, and private events. Excelling in leisure since 2012. Heavy B Productions. More information at heavybtrivia1.com.
You have about 60 seconds remaining to answer this question. 60 seconds. Good luck. You're listening to the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast.
Want to give a big shout out to our Bar Exam Pub Trivia live game venues. Check out the Ramblin' Root in Fairmont on Fairmont Avenue, the BRICKSIDE Bar and Grill, Lodgeville Road in Bridgeport, Magic's Bar and Grill, Middleton Road in Whitehall, Buffalo Wild Wings, Northridge Road in Buckhannon, the Derby, Virginia Avenue in Fairmont, and Meager's Irish Pub, Benton Court in Bridgeport. Find information about all our live game Bar Exam Pub Trivia venues at our website, heavybtrivia1.com.
Learn how to keep score by watching the tutorial and get official score sheets at heavybtrivia1.com. You're playing along with the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. Here's Edge.
Welcome back to the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. Getting ready for your second half of Pub Trivia. But first, got to go back to the first half. Give you your halftime question. We asked before we went to break, which 5 species of animals are considered the big 5 for game hunters in South Africa? Here's how your answer slip should have looked. Elephants are on this list. Rhinos are on this list. Buffalo is on this list. Buffaloes, water buffaloes, I guess.
Okay.
Lions are on this list. And leopards are on this list, rounding out the top 5. So for each one of those you got correct, add 2 points to your score. And this would also be the time if you're playing at the office or if you're playing with a group of people. Now you would stop the game and read out your standings so you know where everybody stands. Currently in our game, Jason, a pretty respectable 22 points.
28 now.
28 points.
I got 3 of those correct.
Okay, got 3 of the 5 there. So 28 decent scores as we get into the second half. In the second half now, we up the ante. You can now wager 7, 5, or 3 based on your confidence in your answer. And you can score 15 points per part instead of 10. So once again, we are wagering 7, 5, or 3, scoring 15 instead of 10. Here we go with your Part 4 categories. They are movies, sports, geography. Once again, movies, sports, and geography. Here's your movies category question. First question of the second half. What was Dorothy's last name in the movie The Wizard of Oz? Once again, what was Dorothy's last name in the movie The Wizard of Oz? Good luck, everybody.
You just asked this to the guy who runs the theater company, you know?
I guess I've thrown you a couple softballs the last couple games we've been playing. What was Dorothy's last name in the movie The Wizard of Oz? One of the classics. You were only right if you wrote Gale. Dorothy Gale. And I guess we should have mentioned this earlier. Spelling never counts in the game, or else many of us wouldn't score anything. But Gale is actually spelled G-A-L-E in that case. Yeah, not G-A-I-L. So
right.
Just throwing that out there. A little tidbit of information. I like to provide you these little nuggets every once in a while, Jason.
Sure, because in case if they're ever in a situation where spelling counts.
That's true.
Then they know.
That's true. All right, sports category question. Second question of part number 4. In 1997, the Denver Broncos defeated which team to claim their first Super Bowl championship? Once again, in 1997, the Denver Broncos defeated which team to claim their first Super Bowl championship? Good luck, everybody.
I don't know if this is right. I just know they lost a lot of Super Bowls.
They did. The Bills, the Buffalo Bills. That's not the answer.
Oh,
He's got Bills written down. But Bills stands for boy, I love losing Super Bowls, by the way.
What another nugget for you there.
Yeah. In 1997, the Denver Broncos defeated which team to claim their first Super Bowl championship? This was Elway's first Super Bowl championship. Beat Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. So the Packers would have been the correct response there. And finally, we will finish out part number 4 with a geography category question. In what state would you find the Bonneville Salt Flats International Speedway? Once again, in which state would you find the Bonneville Salt Flats International Speedway? Good luck, everybody.
I don't know why I know that.
Oh, geez. In what state would you find the Bonneville Salt Flats International Speedway? You were only right if you wrote Utah.
Oh, man.
So,
The Great Salt Lake, man, doesn't that just make sense now?
yeah, there you go. There you go. It's not easy, though, when you only have 12 seconds. Had you had a minute, you may have been able to get that one.
That sick beat in my ear.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. It's sick. I know it. I made it. All right, here's your on GarageBand live loops. That's how I did it. All right, music, TV, and history are your part 5 categories. Music, TV, and history. Here's your music category question. I don't know if you're a classic rock guy or not.
Not.
Long Train Coming, Jesus Is Just All Right, and China Grove are songs written and recorded by which classic rock band? Once again, Long Train Coming, Jesus Is Just All Right, and China Grove are songs written and recorded by which classic rock band? Good luck, everybody.
This is not right. I feel like I should know China Grove, and I don't.
I play these songs quite a bit during our live trivia games because I'm a big fan of these guys. Long Train Coming, Jesus Is Just All Right, and China Grove. It was the first question of part number 5, a music category question. Songs written and recorded by which classic rock band? You were only right if you wrote the Doobie Brothers. The Doobie Brothers. So that is 3 in a row that Jason has missed. See if we can get you back on the right track here, partner. What TV show, this is a TV category question, second to part number 5. What TV show that ran for 8 seasons on HBO featured characters such as Vincent Chase and Ari Gold? Once again, what TV show that ran for 8 seasons on HBO featured characters such as Vincent Chase and Ari Gold? Good luck, everybody. By the way, we are live at the pub right now. We do have a green screen behind us, but if you are hearing dishes rattle and I don't think I can't hear it all that well in my headphones. But if you're hearing that, we are live at the pub here. We don't have enough space at my house to really do this, so we have to come somewhere where we have enough space.
Or enough beer, really.
Or enough beer. That's exactly right. What TV show that ran for 8 seasons on HBO featured characters such as Vincent Chase and Ari Gold? You were only right if you wrote Entourage.
Yeah, see.
Not The Sopranos.
It's 4 in a row.
Entourage. All right, man, we got to get you.
You ask a lot of HBO questions, and I've never.
That's just tonight, man.
I'm
That's
too
just
poor for HBO.
Yeah. All right, you're too young for this one, too, I think. But we'll see.
Well, it's a history question.
A history category question. In which decade was the voting age lowered to 18 years of age? Once again, in which decade was the voting age lowered to 18 years of age? Good luck, everybody.
Oh, this is a killer, man.
This is why Jason is hesitant to come on with me sometimes, because again, it's much easier on this side of the microphone.
Sure, it's also much easier with like a group of people.
That's true, too. That is absolutely true. In which decade was the voting age lowered to 18 years of age? That happened in March of 1971. So the 1970s
Wow.
would have been the correct response.
I missed all three in that block.
Oh, boy. And he's 1 for 6 in the second half, folks. If you're competing against Jason, well, anything can happen in this final question, though. We still got 3 more to go before we get to the final. Here are your Part 6 categories: literature, arts and entertainment, business and advertising. Once again, literature, arts and entertainment, business and advertising. Here is your literature category question. First question of part number 6. In the classic American novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, Eliza's famous flight across the ice pack takes place, on what famous river? Or what well-known river? In the classic American novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, Eliza's famous flight across the ice pack takes place on what well-known river? Good luck, everybody.
I mean,
We do have a theater one coming up for you
it's
next.
not the Shenandoah.
In Arts and Entertainment. Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah
The
River.
Potomac? I don't know.
All right, you got a guess even?
Yeah, here's my guess for 3. Mississippi.
In the classic American novel Uncle Tom's Cabin, Eliza's famous flight across the ice pack takes place on which well-known river? You were only right if you wrote the Ohio. The Ohio River. All right, Jay, let's see if we can get you one here. This is your category now, arts and
Okay,
entertainment.
Thank you.
Which of these 3 plays debuted on Broadway first? Phantom of the Opera, Cats, or Miss Saigon? Once again, which of these 3 plays debuted on Broadway first? Phantom of the Opera, Cats, or Miss Saigon? Good luck, everybody.
Why not?
All right, arts and entertainment. Which of these 3 plays debuted first on Broadway? Phantom of the Opera happened in 1988. Miss Saigon was 1991. Cats was 1982. Cats is the correct response. And the streak continues for Jason. This next one, though, dude, it's like an either or. So I really think you got a chance on
I
this.
feel like you're just patronizing me at this point since I've missed 5 and 6 in a row.
On which stock exchange would you find Twitter? Once again, on which stock exchange would you find Twitter? And you can find us on Twitter at BAREXAMPTPOD also. Good luck, everybody.
I mean, I'm embarrassed to tell you I don't know the 2 stock exchanges.
Well, I would think there's more than 2 internationally, but the 2 big ones here in America, of course, NASDAQ and the New York Stock Exchange.
Oh.
And Twitter is on the New York Stock Exchange. So everybody, he's back. Congratulations. He got one there at the end. So what is your score right now, Jason? If
40.
You don't mind? Okay, he's got 40 points right now. And it's now time for our final question of the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. And it works a little bit like Jeopardy. You now have to wager a value between 0 and 20 points. The way it works like Jeopardy, whatever you wager, if you get it right, this final question, I'm going to add to your final score. If you get it wrong, I'm going to take away from your final score. So there's certainly strategy involved. If you were playing with a group of people right now or against a group of people, you would at this moment want to pause the podcast and let everybody know where you stand. So you have a little bit more strategy involved in the wagering here at the end. Of course, we just heard Jason had 40 points, so we can just go ahead and get into our final question right now. Here we go. According to PBS, there's only been 1 year since 1922 when no climber was lost or killed on Mount Everest attempting to summit. Within 6 years.
Oh, boy.
In what year did this milestone occur? Once again, according to PBS, there has been only 1 year since 1922 when no climber was lost or killed on Mount Everest attempting to summit. Within 6 years, in what year did this milestone occur? At the pub, we give you 2 songs to answer this question since it's a little more involved. On the Pub Trivia Podcast, we give you 2 minutes. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. Thanks for listening to the Pub Trivia Podcast.
Get your question on the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast by emailing BAREXAMPTPOD@gmail.com. This is the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast.
Hey, it's Edge from the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. Want to give a shout out to our sponsors and let you know where you can play pub trivia live on location. Mondays, I'm in Buckhannon for Bar Bingo Night at Buffalo Wild Wings. Straight up bingo, but we play for gift cards. 5 games, in fact, throughout the night. 5 gift cards to give away. Check it out, Bar Bingo on Mondays in Buckhannon. We call the first ball at 6:30. Tuesday, catch me hosting live from the BRICKSIDE Bar and Grill in Bridgeport. Showtime at 7:30. And right now, we're running the bonus bingo promotion exclusively at the BRICKSIDE. So log on to HeavyBTrivia1.com for info on that. Top 3 teams for pub trivia get gift cards each night. BRICKSIDE, Lodgeville Road in Bridgeport. You can also on Tuesday catch Haas calling questions at the Ramblin' Root in Fairmont. Showtime starts at 7 o'clock. The Ramblin' Root located right there on Fairmont Avenue in downtown. Prizes for the top 3 teams there. Wednesdays, catch Haas again as he makes the trip to Buckhannon for pub trivia at Buffalo Wild Wings. It's an early game, starts at 6:30. Buffalo Wild Wings in Buckhannon. You can see it right from Route 33. Prizes for the top 3 teams in Buckhannon. Magic's Bar and Grill also hosts a game on Wednesday night with your host with the most, Rob. Magic's located on Middletown Road there in Whitehall. A newly smoke-free facility also, which is really cool. Game starts at 7 o'clock there. Check out Magic's on Wednesday night. Prizes for the top 3 teams. Thursday, we give the bar exam in Fairmont at the Derby. Probably my favorite place in the world. Really, I'm telling you. Greg is your host on Thursdays. The Derby, located on Virginia Avenue, right next to East West Stadium. Smaller joint, so get there early, get yourself a seat. Prizes for the top 2 teams at the Derby. Game starts at 7 o'clock. And then I'm back at it on Thursdays also live from Meager's Irish Pub in Bridgeport. Betancourt at the new Charles Point Plaza. Top 3 teams get paid, including a $40 gift card for first place. Great selection of beer, too, at Meager's. Check us out Thursday for the bar exam. Gets underway at 7:30. Email us at BAREXAMPTPOD@gmail.com. Thanks for playing the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. We'll be right back.
You're listening to the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast.
It is the Bar Exam Pub Trivia Podcast. Welcome back. My name is Edge alongside Jason Young. We are into our final question of the evening right now. According to PBS, there's only been 1 year since 1922 when no climber was lost or killed on Mount Everest attempting to summit within 6 years. And what year did this milestone occur? It happened back in 1977. 71 through 83 would have been correct responses.
Bottom.
So, final question taken consideration. Now you add up your scores, you compare them with other people, and you find out who won and lost the game. Jason only bet 10 on that final question, though. So he's going to finish tonight's game with 50 points if you were competing against Jason. Any final thoughts on that game there, Jay? Really a roller coaster. Actually, it was an all downhill until that final question for the most part, right?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had a butt whooping like that in several years. You certainly rocked my socks.
There
and
you
that's
go.
What
I promised
That's what you promised.
I promised it.
Consider the socks rocked.
50 points, though, by yourself, man. Not a bad score. When you have 5 or 6, 7 people helping you out, it's usually a little bit higher. Sometimes, though, keep in mind, you can always get too many cooks in the kitchen in this game also. Got a question for us that you want us to use on the Pub Trivia Podcast? Email us at BAREXAMPTPOD@gmail.com or reach out to us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, BAREXAMPTPOD. Coming up right across the bottom of your screen right now. You can also listen to another episode on those aforementioned platforms. For Jason Young, my name is Edge. Thanks so much for listening, Jay. Until next time, a glass is good, a lass is good, a pipe to smoke in cold weather. The world is good. People are good. We should all try to make each other better. Cheers, partner. Thanks for listening, guys.
This is a Heavy B production.